Good morning, everyone. So glad you're here. I am doing the streaming to the Facebook and trusting the connection. Everything happens so beautifully. Transforming relationships through boundaries. All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and we've been bringing you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration since 2009 to ensure that you are staying in the flow, you're staying connected with the community, as well as the amazing guests that we bring on, and connected to your purpose, your vision, your goal, what it is that you're here to be the highest expression of. So we're delighted to have you with us today. I'll be bringing on our guest in a moment. Do want to share very exciting news. We have our upcoming 2-day Level Up workshop happening this Friday and Saturday, and it's online, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. And we do this event twice a year. We do it in December, so you can set your sights for the year to come. And we also do it at this mid-year point because I don't know about you, but sometimes, those goals I wrote or those intentions, they can kind of get sidetracked. It's kind of like planning a beautiful day and then it rains. Well, what do? You got to prepare for the rain. So today, I encourage you, grab your ticket to Level Up because the mid-year one is called Advanced Level Up. We're bringing you some new strategies, techniques, and reconnecting you with what's most important to you, your purpose and your why, to make sure that you have a clear path forward. So I'm very excited about that. And let me mention, full disclosure, I live in South Florida and we are having lots and lots of rain, which is making the ground soggy and maybe making our cables and drive our internet soggy. So if I freeze up today, Mary Elaine's going to carry the ball to make sure that everybody is staying in tune and getting the most out of today's session. So thank you for saying yes to that and making sure we keep flowing. All right, beautiful. All right, so today's conversation, I'm excited about, and this area that we're going to discuss is about boundaries. And sometimes when I hear the word boundaries, it feels constricting. Other times when I hear the word boundaries, it feels liberating. So I'm excited to see what Mary Elaine has to bring to the table to support us in creating those boundaries that lead to our best lives. Before I bring her on, let me tell you a little bit about Mary Elaine Petrucci. She is a strong advocate for people who care for others. She has a reputation for advocacy, education, and change using her mind-body techniques and hypnotherapy. Mary Elaine realized that there are huge groups of healthcare professionals, family caregivers, holistic practitioners, family members, and ourselves who require to or being of service to others. We're taken to another level so that we need tools and resources to move beyond the obstacles that get in our way. She is with us today to talk about transforming relationships through boundaries. And as you're listening in, I want you to get that you are learning from a woman who has multiple certifications, not only in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. She's got a master's of business administration. This woman is knowledgeable to the nines, tens, 11s, whatever we would call that. So welcome, Mary Elaine.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I am thrilled that you're here today. And let's jump straight into the conversation because if you would take us a little bit on the journey that brought you from, being in business, in corporate, having your MBA and following that path to then enhancing the work that you do with neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. Why did that come about for you?
Great question. Thank you so much for asking it, Nancy. Initially, my brother passed away when he was 15, and I was left with major, guilt about
Mm-hmm.
being left alone and not being with him at the time that he passed. And I just felt like it was really very suffocating to me, and it just pushed me away from people because I was afraid that they would either leave me or die. And it was just very hard to form those close relationships with others during that time because I didn't want to be intimate and really be authentic with people, knowing that it may not last.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my early to mid 30s, I lost another good friend um, who was killed by a distracted driver. And that also set me back because I realized that people were passing away and I wasn't really being authentic and living in the moment with them. I was sitting on the sidelines of life and not really getting and using my best potential in order to serve others. And I tried a lot of different techniques. And when I learned about neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotherapy, I really began to heal from like the inside out. And I think that's what's so beautiful about those two techniques is you can get really to the core of the issue and really change it transformationally. And, it's a lifelong journey. However, it's so powerful in that it gave me the opportunity to understand and appreciate people more and to really live in the moment with those people in my life. And
And
go ahead.
yeah, well, first of all, thank you for sharing, so openly about your experiences and what you've been through. And so thank you for that. Your authenticity and vulnerability gives us all permission to do the same. And as I was listening and I hear about, when your brother passed away when he was 15 and you noted, you kept yourself from, really delving into relationships and having trust and creating those bonds because of this fear that was there. I
Yeah.
suspect you actually didn't know that that was what was running the show, right?
Mhm.
At 15 years old, we're not that aware. We just look around and we notice, things in my life aren't as good as they could be or as I always want them to be, or how come this happens in my relationships or this doesn't happen? And I bring this up for everyone listening in to just take a pause and reflect on the various areas of your life and look if there's an area of your life that you're experiencing now, which is different than you hoped for, dreamed of, desire.
Mhm.
Chances are there's something underneath hidden that
Yes.
you're unaware of that neurolinguistic programming, NLP, and hypnotherapy
Mhm.
get to that root cause in
Yeah,
such a powerful, powerful way.
it does because it allows you to do a lot of self-reflection and overcome those negative emotions,
Yes.
limiting beliefs, and rid yourself of strategies that no longer serve you, and to
Yeah.
really reassess like your values so that you can become the person that you're meant to be.
And it's interesting because I think sometimes intelligent people such as myself, I think I'm so smart I can figure it all out by myself, right?
Mhm.
And I heard this quote the other day. Listen to this. I heard this quote. Your nose is above your mouth, but you still need someone else to tell you your breath stinks,
Yes,
right? Even though my nose is right next to my mouth, I may not know I have bad breath. Somebody else is going to need to help me with that. And that's part of the value of having a mentor and a coach and
yeah,
somebody to guide you.
most definitely. I love that analogy.
That was
I
good.
think just being mentored with through these techniques and using them with clients has really transformed my life, because I learn from my clients and I can relate to them more on an intimate and authentic way, because I've been through those experiences and know
Mhm.
it's possible to make the transformation that I needed in order to live my best life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And I too am, certified in NLP and hypnotherapy. And I initially went through those processes for myself.
Mhm.
And then as a coach and a consultant serving other people, I decided to get certified in it so that I could help my clients further.
Yes.
And I see, so for anybody listening in, give some consideration to adding this to your stack of skills that you bring to your clients, because we can give the greatest suggestions, strategy, advice, moving, ways to move forward, ways to get that expansion. But when there's things hidden under the surface running the show that we're unaware of,
Mhm.
my best strategies aren't going to work, right? So that's why I got certified in it and added it to my toolbox. And I know you do training and certification for people if they want to add this to their toolbox, right?
Yes, I do. I think it's really important because, like you said, you can give the best advice, but unless the person A is motivated to change, and B, if they don't uncover those hidden blocks that they have, they
Mhm.
really are unable to move forward and make the change and make it sustainable for their entire lives and for their careers and for their relationships.
Yeah, so
So
good,
it's
so
really
good.
important to get the training for your clients so that A, you up level yourself, because you now have more strategies to help yourself and others achieve their goals. So I think just seeing clients one-on-one and in group trainings is so important, because it helps a greater number of people make those transformations that they really desire.
Right. It's the next thing to move them to where they want to go. Beautiful.
Yes.
Um, and in your work, I know today the focus of our conversation is going to be about boundaries.
Mhm.
And why, well, first of all, let's define boundaries, and then we'll move to why they're so important. Because I get, when I hear the word boundaries, all like the first thing I think of is like, stop. And that's not, doesn't feel good to think of it in that way, but define boundaries for us.
Well, a simplified version of definition of boundaries is really, it's really where one person stops and another person begins. So you have like this bubble around you, because you um o- only would allow certain people in your that you really care for to come close to you, to be, intimate with you. You just need to have those boundaries so people know how to respect you as a person and the values and the beliefs that you have.
Mhm. And I know for me, learning to set boundaries was really challenging as I was growing up and coming up, wanting, as a consummate people pleaser.
Yes,
I hear being a child of an alcoholic tends to have that, but I think other people can be people pleasers too.
I agree. Boundaries are so important because they allow you to set limits for
Hmm.
with your relationships with other people, so they can respect you for your spiritual, emotional, financial, mental, physical, and just your non-negotiables, so to speak. So it really defines you as a person, and you can change that over time with hypnotherapy and with neurolinguistic programming. However, it's a way for people to really, well, first of all, it empowers you to have boundaries. So people respect you for who you are and they know exactly what they can ask of you.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly,
And hang on one second,
sure,
if you don't mind.
sure.
Um, People know what they can ask of you, and then learning that it's okay to say no. And when I say no, people still like me anyway. Like I don't have to just say yes, yes, yes to everything because I'm afraid people won't like me. I know that was an old story I had running.
Well, exactly. And no can be a complete sentence. You don't have to justify your answer. You
Mhm.
just have to say no. And that's the end of the conversation. If somebody wants to continue making that request of you, you can say, well, thank you, and then just walk away. You
Mhm.
don't have to be a people pleaser because, like I said, you empower yourself when you set those limits and those boundaries. And secondly, it really allows other people to really begin to respect you for who you are. So they can't use you as a doormat and know that you're going to give in to them for any whim and wish that they want. So, yeah, you're just empowering yourself because you
Mhm.
know who you stand for, you know who you are, and you know what you can do under any set of conditions that you may be required or asked to do because you go through this boundary setting process, which gives you much more clarity about what you can and can't do for
I
others.
was just going to ask you, how do we discover our boundaries? So, what is this process we can go? Can you share that with us today?
Definitely. Thank you for
Okay,
asking.
good. Mhm.
Setting boundaries is really a three-step process. So the first step is if somebody asks you to do something for them or make a request of you, you say, thank you for asking. I'll get back to you. Then internally, you ask three sets of questions. Do I want to do it?
Mhm.
Yes or no? Do I have the time, the energy, or the money to do this? Number
I'm going to
three
type
is,
these in the chat for everybody.
I know.
Mhm.
So exactly. So you
All
have
right.
to,
Do I want to do it? Do I have the time, energy, and money to do this? And what's the
and
third question?
and the third question is, do I want to give it?
Oh, because you're
You have,
giving of yourself when people
right,
ask you.
exactly. So you have to answer yes to all three questions in
Hmm.
order to move to the third step, where you go to the person and you set the conditions upon which you will do that task. And then you negotiate with the other person the consequences if they don't follow those conditions. So everybody is clear that you will accept that request with certain conditions and then will follow, and you have to follow through with those consequences if the other person doesn't comply.
Hmm. Hmm. Where can you give us an example of, how we would apply this, in our relationships, whether it's with a sibling or a parent or a child? Because, requests come up all the time. I'm thinking, so my son wanted to go with his sons for their birthday to Universal, and they have a 1-year-old baby, and they didn't want to bring the baby, so they wanted a babysitter.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking, do I want to do it? Yes, I want to do it, but I've got level up happening this weekend, and there's so many things going on. Like that's what was going through my mind. Do I
Mhm.
have the time, energy, and money to do this? Yes, I can make it work. But do I want to give it? Yes, I do. And I think do I want to give it was probably biggest driver for me to work it out
Mm,
to fulfill this request.
yes. And that's a great example. So the conditions would be for you, you have to have like all of like the baby's clothing and diapers and all of
Gotta
that,
tell me. Yeah,
formula.
I'm not available on Friday and Saturday. You need to find somebody else. Like that's not my responsibility. That's yours. Yeah.
Right. And then if you are taking care of the 1-year-old, you can like have all the clothing, the food, um, the diapers, and the toys that the child plays with. And then and you set the time, like they have to pick up the child at X time.
Yep, all of that. And I'm
Yes.
just thinking that this actually was a really good example because they also have a huge dog. And I was like, I'll do the baby, but I'm not doing the dog. You need to find somebody else to do the dog. And I could have just me, but I didn't want to do the dog. So wow, I'm really proud of myself.
No, I think that's, well, personally, taking care of a baby requires a lot of work and oversight.
Mhm.
So taking care of dogs would not
Yeah, yeah,
into my picture either. That's a really great example. So if your son and that he knows the conditions,
yeah,
if he doesn't follow the consequences, that means that you don't babysit for, I don't
right.
know,
Or
like a month.
I keep the baby.
Right. Well, there you go. You can do that too. That's a good, I know.
Oh my goodness.
It's really important because let's go back to step 2. If if you answer one of those questions with a no, you
Mhm.
stop right there and you go back to the person and say, I'm unable to fulfill your request at this time. I have a lot on my plate, and then simply walk away.
Mhm. Right. Because no, as you said earlier, is a
Yes.
complete sentence.
Right. And there's
Yeah.
no need to discuss the situation or the request any further. You've made it quite clear that you can or you can't. And if you can't, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about if when you're first setting limits and boundaries inside of relationships
Mhm.
with people that aren't used to you doing that.
Okay. That's a
It's a big
great
one.
question.
It's a big one, I know.
It is. Well, the key is you have to follow those boundaries and those conditions and consequences that you have set up with the other person. You have to do it 3 times in a row.
Hmm.
And in order to let the universe know, and your unconscious mind to know that you're really serious about setting these boundaries with people. If you don't, let's say you do it 2 out of 3 times, you're going to have to start all over again. So it's really important to do it 3 times consecutively so that everybody knows, the person that's making the request, the universe and your unconscious mind all know that you have made a firm decision and you're going to stay with it.
Mhm. Well, and I love that, and I have not heard that before, that when you're setting boundaries and new limits and really transforming the relationship to
Mhm.
create more peace and happiness for yourself, and I believe for the other person, because when you say no to something that you don't want to do and they do it or they find somebody else, it empowers them as well.
It does. It does. And especially for yourself, because you are an individual person and you do have those boundaries in those 7 areas. And you just need to do that self-care for yourself and know that you can say no. You can do an activity if you answered all those questions
Mhm.
and follow those conditions and
Yeah.
consequences, yes, it does empower the other person because they know that you have told them what your boundaries are and that you're firm about it. And it allows them then to make another choice, a better choice perhaps, in who they ask when they're making that
Yeah.
request.
Yeah. And I think it also empowers them with resourcefulness
Yes,
to find other solutions and find other ways of doing things. So there's empowerment on both sides. Um,
exactly.
you mentioned, kind of slipped in there, setting boundaries in 7 areas. Can you
Mhm.
share what those are?
They are spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, non-negotiable,
Spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, non-negotiable.
and time.
Mm,
Yes. And
yeah,
yeah,
those are all ones that either energize us or drain us, right? As I look at those areas, right? And
it,
so here's a clue for everyone. If you are feeling drained and, zapped energy wise, take a look at one of these areas. And I think this is where you have the opportunity to create some new limits and boundaries. And it could be, let's talk about from a business perspective. If you haven't set good boundaries for how you treat your business, you're going to feel zapped and exhausted and not have the energy to live in your purpose and your passion. So that's why I'm such a big fan of, time blocking and making sure that I build in time to keep me balanced. And that was boundaries I needed to learn for myself. That didn't have anything to do with anyone else other
Mhm.
than, let me say, pressure. I was a single mom, raising my kids, feeding my kids, keeping the business going. Like those were boundaries. Those were outside constraints that I needed to create structure for.
Definitely. And I think it just helps you become a more balanced, aligned person
Mhm.
because everything in your life is now, I don't want to use the word really controlled by your boundaries, but it gives you, it allows you to make the best choices for yourself in all of those areas so
Mhm.
that you can have the best life that you desire. And
Yeah.
I think, I think
It's,
that's, yeah,
I
it's
was going
just,
to say it switches us from living on autopilot, subject to all the outside demands, and
yes,
transforms us into conscious creators,
most
right?
definitely, most definitely. You become really in control of your life and you're following like the plan that either God or the universe has planned for you. And you can
Mhm.
do that in a more sustainable, creative way and serve more people.
Yeah. And just to to circle back, yeah, I'm going to full transparency before we jumped into today's conversation. I had a preconceived notion of what boundaries are and what the conversation could be. So I am um, surprised and delighted that we've expanded
Mhm.
the breadth of what boundaries really covers, because I think
Yes.
taking a look at your life and
Mhm.
any area that feels out of balance, there's a boundary issue.
Yes.
Right? It could be, we could fix this easier than we make up sometimes, and we don't have to stay in a state of feeling drawn, overwhelmed, overloaded, and all that. Look at the structures and the limits that you've got in these different areas where you're feeling zapped or completely energized, and make some changes. We get to be in control of that.
Well, most definitely. We need to be responsible for the decisions and the choices that we make every day. And if they're not working for us, then we need to step back and really look at the boundaries that we have in those 7 areas and really reflect on what really needs to change so that you become more centered and aligned and that you can be your best self and show up and be prepared and to really serve people to the highest possible way. So
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
boundaries are really, I think, the core of everything that we do.
Yeah, I would agree. And I wouldn't have had that insight, but for you being with us today. So thank you for that gift.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
like another little caveat, I know that setting boundaries and going through that 3-step process will feel uncomfortable at first. However, the more that you do it and the more you start enforcing those boundaries with other people, you will get to the point where you will become really more empowered so that you can show up and be your best self and, you know,
yeah,
serve people to the ultimate.
absolutely. And feel good and all of that. Like I'm thinking, so I've done NLP, I've done lots of work on Nancy, and I continue because I want to be the best version of myself. And just as you're sharing about that, I think
Mhm.
before I learned to set limits and set boundaries, I would have said to my son, I'll watch the baby. Oh, the dog, no problem. Meanwhile, I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe I have to take care of this dog too. But because I am practiced in it after many,
Yes.
many years, then I've learned and built that muscle and it creates
Mhm.
some balance. And I had a wonderful time with the baby, let me just say, by the
Oh,
way.
well, thank you. I mean, that's a great example.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
it's good.
really, you knew that you could take care of the baby and not the dog. So,
I didn't want to take care of like I could
well,
have, but I didn't want to.
well, exactly. So they had to make a different choice, and
And
that's
they
okay.
did.
That's not,
They did.
like you said, it's on them. So,
Um, oh, my friends, we are already at the halfway point, and I want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity to ask some questions, share, insights, ahas, or any questions you have for Mary Elaine. And while I make that happen, I want to remind everyone that great little quote I found, and you'll probably hear me say it often because I really think it makes sense. Even though your mouth is under your nose, you still need someone else to tell you that your breath stinks. So let's work with Mary Elaine in order to uncover these areas, create those boundaries, and get really good at it. So I know you've got a couple of gifts for us. Tell us, I know you have a gift about boundaries, and then you have a masterclass coming up. Tell us about it. I'll grab links and put them in the chat for everyone.
okay, thank you. Boundaries is a 2 part offer. You will get a description of all the different types of boundaries and why they're important. And then you will, on the second offer, you will be able to have an outline of those 7 different areas and then the 3-step process that you can follow in order to create those healthy boundaries with other people. The master class is on June 21st, and it's called the Hope Formula, Unlock Your Hidden Potential. And it's really for people who want to really up level their game in terms of understanding their hidden potential by really starting to access their unconscious mind. And it will also give you an idea of how hypnosis can quiet your mind and help you reduce that stress and overwhelm in your life. And then it'll help you also look at like any negative emotions, limiting beliefs that you have that no longer serve you. And if
Mhm.
you're a coach, it will help you serve your people more effectively and efficiently because you will be able to have them access their goals and achieve them in a shorter amount of time because they're looking and unlocking the hidden resources within your unconscious mind. And
Mhm.
it also will help you as a coach to really increase your revenue stream, because you're offering that as another way to best serve your clients and to help them achieve what they want to achieve in their life.
Yeah, that and the piece about adding another revenue stream, like I used to refer out people to go to someone else, but now I can serve them in that way. And
Yes,
because I'm in tune with them and their life and their business, having this tool allows me to serve them better, which allows me to earn more money. And it's where possible. So if you're listening in and you're a coach and you don't yet have the skills of NLP or hypnosis, get in touch with Mary Elaine, because I c- I know for a fact that adding this into my toolbox has my clients succeed further and faster. Yeah.
definitely. And it just helps you, help, it helps your clients, it helps yourself, because
Helps your bank
you,
account.
I know, it just helps you be more effective in your ability to center yourself and align yourself so that you can serve your clients to the highest level. So
Yeah.
yes, the masterclass is on June 21st from 12 to 1:30 Eastern. I would love to have everybody come and actually experience hypnosis
Hmm.
firsthand, so you know what it's like, and how empowering it can be, not only for yourself, but for other people as well. So it's a great tool, like Nancy said, to help not only you achieve your goals faster and in a shorter amount of time, but it also helps your clients get to where they want to be so that they can have the life that they desire.
Beautiful, beautiful. So register for the class. It's absolutely free. Go to Phoenix Rising Life Institute.com. Love the name of your company.
Thank you.
Phoenix Rising Life Institute.com / hope dash masterclass. And what I'm going to suggest is everybody who signs up for the masterclass will also send you the free guide about boundaries, because I'm having trouble finding the link right now. So let's remember, Mary Elaine, we want to send that out as a bonus, because
Yes,
unless you
definitely.
find the link. So anyway, go to Phoenix Rising Life Institute.com / hope masterclass. Mary Jane says she's already in. Well done, my friend.
Yay. So
Love it, love it.
excited.
Yep. All
Excited.
right, let's open up for some callers. First up is Olivia Jones. Good morning, Olivia.
Good morning, Nancy. I have to say that this topic is so timely and so on point for me. There was a time when I was constantly doing for people, one person in particular, and I almost came to the point where I felt like I was becoming this person because I was giving so much to that individual. And so when Mary Ellen, when you were talking about where you, that one person ends and you begin, I felt like I had merged with this person and it was very
Oh,
uncomfortable for
wow,
me.
yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, we're talking about boundaries. And it's been a process for me to work my way through getting stronger in terms of setting boundaries and really reflecting on why I felt the need to always do for someone and not say, always saying yes. And I love the questions that you shared. One thing that I recognize is that I actually setting the conditions and making sure
Hmm.
that I'm firm in those conditions. And then I'm wondering, my question is, what the non-negotiable boundary, what would that contain or pertain to? A non-negotiable.
So non-negotiables are really deal breakers. That's a great question, Olivia. Thank you for bringing that up. Um, they're just deal breakers, so that if you, it really affects your trust, respect, and honesty, and your personal value. So just really disengaging from certain situations,
Mhm.
ending some toxic relationships that you may be in, and just,
Right, a deal breaker in a relationship. You lay a
yes,
hand on me, that's a deal breaker.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a
right,
non-negotiable. Gotcha.
You
exactly.
Yes,
you
most
you
certainly.
curse me out or put me down in front of other people, deal breaker.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
exactly.
I had to discover some of these since I'm in a new relationship.
Yay. Awesome. Awesome. And then so when you and then the that can be tied into setting the conditions as well. Being able to say, okay, these are the consequences if you do not, these are the things I'm asking of you. Well, the
Mhm.
deal breakers, that's strong, set in stone. The non-negotiable, the setting the conditions, you can go about doing that based on your own personal values and the things that are most important to you. Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. And I kudos to you for ending those relationships and
Hmm.
don't serve you and really standing up for yourself.
Yeah, it's been a lot of growth
Yeah.
and continued growth.
It
It's continuous. It's continuous. But
is.
I'm becoming self-aware, and it has definitely impacted the way that I do business. Even because people will often want to come and ask for, well, can you discount your products? And then you're saying yes, and it's like, well, no. Why do I need to discount
You.
my
Yeah,
prices for you? You know, and
Yeah.
so that's something that has been a boundary for me as well, being able to be firmer in that and being able to communicate clearly that this is what I have and this is what I'm going to do.
right.
So
Because
thank
whatever
you so much.
service, yeah, sorry,
Love
didn't
it.
interrupt. No,
No, no, no, go ahead.
it's just really important, that you don't have to discount your products. I mean, they're really good products, and I think that you should ask people to pay the price that it's the product is worth. And if they don't, then it's not on you.
Products, and that could be products or services as
Yeah.
well. People
Mhm.
want you to kind of dim down the value of your services. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to do, it doesn't have to
Good.
be that way. So thank you. This was such a good topic. I love it.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
Thank you, Olivia, for bringing new perspectives and other, value to our call today. I appreciate you greatly.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Awesome. All right, let's go to our next caller. Somebody phone number is 850 254, and your line is open if you have a question or comment for our guest today.
Hello, this is Joy, and
Joy.
I just want to I just want to let Mary Elaine know that I signed up for her Hope Formula Masterclass. I just also wanted to say that I don't know what it is, and then again, yes, I do. It's God, but He has me call in to WPN when I need to hear what's on. It just seems to happen that way. But I just got news that my best friend's biopsy shows cancer is terminal, so they're talking about putting her in hospice. Dawn is only 54 years old and has a 16-year-old daughter, Akira, who she's been fighting cancer for a while, bone cancer, to see her daughter graduate from high school. Anyhow, Dawn is my ride or die friend. I never allowed anyone to get close to me until her. And as a matter of fact, I've been crying all morning, just thinking about what she means to me. She helped me to learn how to set boundaries with my dysfunctional parents. And it's ironic that my dad and sister said that I didn't react the correct way when I found out that my brother died 2 years ago, because it didn't hit me until the following morning. So I found out on a Sunday evening at 10:30 that my brother died, and then it wasn't until the morning And I kind of woke up thinking I'd been dreaming or something. But it's happening the same way right now, because I found out last night that Dawn is passing away, and it's hitting me today, And anyhow, it's just ironic about boundaries, because that was really what Dawn had helped me with my dysfunctional parents and family. My sister and my brother actually was the only one that I was really close to. So
Wow.
this is just,
Joy, thank you for trusting the guidance that brought you to the call today.
yes.
That's a big step. So kudos to you for that. And it's interesting when you said it was Joy, I was like, well, I haven't heard you in a while. So the timing is always just perfect for you to be here. That's why we call it Wow.
Definitely. Thank you so much
Well,
for
let me
sharing,
tell you
Joy.
this too. I just wanted to mention that I have been in contact with Peggy Lee Hansen, and she has allowed me to write a chapter for my memoir, which is going to be coming up in her next book, Courage Under
That is
Siege.
beautiful. Oh, honey,
Yeah.
this is so good. So
Well,
good.
thank you
Yeah.
for that too.
Yeah. We love you, we support you, and I honor you for the depth of love that you have for your dear friend. It's beautiful.
Oh,
She's lucky to have you.
thank you. I
And you're lucky
appreciate
to
that.
have her. Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything I can do, Joy.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And again, we've touched upon so many emotional aspects today, and the Hope Masterclass is going to be absolutely extraordinary for helping clear away areas of discontent or things that just aren't working to move forward to your next level with renewed hope and faith and tools from Mary Elaine. So do register. It's on June 21st. It's absolutely free. You're going to go to phoenixrisinglifeinstitute.com/hope dash masterclass. All right. Let's go to our next caller, which will be Nellie Williams.
Good morning. This has been an amazing call to listen to. I didn't realize there were so many different boundaries that we all need to be aware of and set for our own health. So, and of course, I'm drawn to the Phoenix Rising because I live in Phoenix. So, it's a very good name for your company because of the Phoenix bird. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for being here. That's my whole mission, is really to help people, professional women, rise from the ashes of broken relationships, just emotional turmoil, and just the feelings of not being who they want to be from like a significant life event, whether it's a death of a loved one, a health crisis, a divorce, loss of a career or a job, and just to help people really reclaim their lives so that they can be transformed and live the life they're meant to have and meant to, that they desire, so that they can live their purpose and mission here in life.
Now, is your master class, will that be recorded? Because I cannot attend that time live.
Normally it isn't. I can consider doing that for you. I mean, because it's so intimate with the group of people that I have, but I can ask to see if they wouldn't mind having it recorded.
Well, I'm not gonna, don't worry about it. I'm just not gonna register at this time because it doesn't fit my calendar.
Yes, and I will be offering the class more times in the future. So
Thank you.
Come live, I'd really like to have you there.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And the boundaries guide, I did find the link for it. It's really, really long. So I'm going to suggest, so Nellie, if you want to get her boundaries guide that she put together,
Yes,
go to phoenixrisinglifeinstitute.com, and under resources in the tab, you'll see the boundaries guide. On the
thank you.
menu bar, there'll be resources there, and that's for everybody. Just go phoenixrisinglifeinstitute.com. All of her trainings, programs, master classes, and resources are there for you. You might want to make sure you register because she does a blog every week or so and sends out great information to support us in this area. So it's pretty darn awesome you are. Thank you, Nellie, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Our next caller. Oh, actually, before I do the next caller, on Facebook, we had someone ask to repeat those 7 areas for boundaries. I had spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, non-negotiable, and time. There's one missing.
Yep.
What's missing?
Pardon me?
It seems like there's one missing if there are 7.
Financial.
There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a big one too,
Yes,
especially in
it is.
relationships. And also, when you're looking at how, not even just in a relationship about money, but creating your own money rules.
Yes.
Do you take 10% and tithe? Do you take 10% and save? Are you saving for a house? What are you willing to spend your money on, and what are you not willing to spend your money on? Right? Like these are important things. Again, consciously creating our life through making some decisions about that.
Exactly.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Our next and probably final caller, Miss Peg Duchesne. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Mary Elaine. Good to
Hi,
be
Peg.
with
It's good to
you.
see you.
I just wanted to congratulate you on all of the advancements and improvements you're making in your business. I know that a couple of years ago you were doing caregiving things, and I love what you've morphed into and bringing such value to so many people with all you're doing. I'm signed up for your workshop. I got the Setting Boundaries resource, and I just appreciate you and wanted to share that gratitude with you.
Peg, thank you so much. It means so much coming from you. I'm here to serve, and I think serving professional women in this new capacity is really where I'm meant to be. So I think, yes, caregivers will be my give back. However, I think this is where I can utilize the skills that I've acquired in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy to best serve people on a more global platform. So yes, I'm excited about the change and having the opportunity to work with all the incredible women here at WPN.
Well, thank you for always sharing your wisdom with us so that we all can rise with the tide. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Love
Thank you
it.
so much. Love you.
Love it. Thank you,
Love you
Peg, for
too.
bringing value and your beautiful energy and spirit every week.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Yes. Quick question, if we can go here. Hope on our Facebook feed said, what's the 3 steps to setting boundaries? So step 1.
Step 1 is, thank you for asking. Let me get back to you. Step 2 is 3 parts. You have to ask yourself 3 questions. Do I want to? The second question you ask is, do I have the time, energy, and money to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And number 3 is, am I able, do I want to get?
Do I want to give it? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then step 3
is to go back to the person. If you've answered yes to all of those questions, then you go back to the person and set conditions. And then you determine the other person and yourself determine the consequences if they don't abide by those conditions that you want. And so everybody
Or
knows.
tell them no. Or just tell them no.
Exactly. And if you've answered no to any of those three questions, then it is a no, and you go back to the person and say no. So it's pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of practice and feeling much more comfortable over time. Please remember that you have to follow those boundaries 3 times consecutively
Change
in
them.
order to show the other person, the universe, and your unconscious mind that you are really committed to that decision, in order to, so that everybody knows that you are
Mhm.
going to be consistent and that you're going to enforce your boundaries.
Yeah, really good. I'm
Thank you.
thinking really, really good. I love this process because we can use this in our relationships with other people. And I'm now seeing how to use it in relationship to myself
Yes.
when I'm wanting to change my eating habits, when I'm wanting to, you know, get more exercise. And when I wake up in the morning and I've said, my new habit is I'm going to go to the gym, and then I say I don't want to. Well, we gotta, it's a great way to reframe and set yourself up for success and retrain your brain. Ask those 3 questions, do it 3 times. Powerful stuff. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what this brilliant woman will deliver to you. So be sure to go to phoenixrisinglifeinstitute.com/hope-masterclass. And at her website, you'll see all kinds of resources and tools to support you in being your best you. Mary Elaine, thank you for this insightful, helpful, and eye-opening conversation. You are a gem, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me. I love WPU and your sisters and all the members of your community. It's a great way just to best serve not only you, but also everyone in your community, because I really feel like very passionate and really helping and serving other people get to their best life.
And you do it very well. So thank you for that.
Thank
All
you
right,
for the
my friends.
opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. We are going to sign off. Be sure to sign up for the masterclass and the resources Mary Elaine has. And if you're listening and you don't have this weekend a wedding or a trip to Hawaii planned, get a ticket to Level Up. Like, why aren't you coming? Like, those are the only reasons, like in a health issue, maybe, but what are your non-negotiables and your commitment to your business? We're committed to giving you what you need to excel above and beyond, to level up. Go to womensprosperityNetwork.com and grab your ticket now, not later, now. And I'll see you Friday and Saturday as we level up every area of your life and your business. Thank you again for joining us for Wow Wednesday. Mary Elaine, have an amazing, amazing day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
Awesome. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.